We are back on Sports Den for just 2 episodes left of our fall season. I'm Blythe Whaley alongside Bill Hupp, and there's a special feeling in the air. It's that wonderful time of year, and it's playoffs.
It is playoff time indeed. Football, volleyball, soccer, all coming down to crunch time, and that included in the Class 6A second round playoffs, which featured 2 of our teams last Friday night. So let's get to the highlights. Second round action in Class 6A, Cougars making a return trip up to St. Michael, trying to avenge a regular season loss to the Knights and advance to the state quarterfinals for the first time since 2019. Opening drive, STMA hands it to Jared Bennett, who strides right down Main Street to make it 7-0 Knights. 18 seconds later, the shifty Lance Nielsen Jr. gets to the outside and houses it from 56 yards to tie the game at 7. Cougars have it again, and Dalen Cummings this time through the air to chase Granza over the middle to give the Centennial the first lead. And then the Centennial defense getting in the act, giving their offense a short field, pouncing on the fumble by the STMA tailback, and who else but Nielsen Jr. recovers it. First play after the fumble then, Dan O'Neill goes Heisman on the bit, stiff arm, to make it 21-7 Centennial after one wild first quarter. Midway through the second, senior Lance Liu made it 28-7 Cougars, and it appeared the route was on. But the third quarter changed everything, leading 28-14. Nielsen Jr. loses it on the pitch. Then Bennett bounces off Evan Lechner and earns 6 the hard way. Riley Purcell would add a 27-yard field goal. And then in the last play of the quarter, Bennett takes another pitch and with a head of steam waltzes his way to the second TD of the quarter to put STMA back in front. Centennial needed a big play, and it got one from Nielsen Jr., this time from 46 yards out for Centennial's first points of the second half. But a late turnover gives STMA the ball, and Bennett scores his 4th touchdown of the game. Yep, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Centennial falls to STMA in another tough one, 38-35. They finish the 21-21 season at 5-5. As you see there, 265 on the ground, but not enough. 248 on the ground for STMA. Look at Bennett's numbers, 24 for 137 and 4 touchdowns. Lance Nielsen Jr., meanwhile, 3 rushes for 102 yards and 2 scores, but a critical fumble. And Lou chips in, ending his fabulous career with 14 rushes for 54 yards and a touchdown. The other local team in action, Blaine visiting second-seeded Shakopee for the right to face number 1 ranked Lakeville South next week. Bengals in the white and blue. First quarter, All-State running back Jaden Hellerud goes airborne to give the Sabres a 7-0 lead. But Blaine would respond on the second drive. Preston Myers capping off a methodical 72-yard drive with this 4-yard touchdown run to tie the game. After Blaine stopped Shakopee on downs, they cap off a long drive with this 33-yard Ryan Schweiger field goal to take a 10-7 lead at the half. Third quarter, however, was all Shakopee. Sabres go to the Wildcat. Hellerud, his second touchdown of the game, puts them on top. And then the next drive, A.J. Call, the Bengals quarterback, his pass for Donovan Torgerson is picked off. One of 2 costly turnovers by Blaine in that third quarter. And you'll see why right here, because 2 plays after the pick, Elijah Sandridge takes the handoff out of the Wildcat and scampers around left end 27 yards to the house to make it 20-10 Shakopee. Bengals would get another long Schweiger field goal in the fourth quarter, but they'd eventually turn it over on downs at the Shakopee 12 with 30 seconds remaining to end the comeback. Bengals put a scare into the highly ranked Sabres, but they finish 5-5 as well with the 20-13 loss. A.J. Call finishing his senior campaign with a really good game, 14 of 25 for 203 yards. Preston Myers, 24 for 86 and a touchdown on the ground. So some good youth players in the ranks. exciting future for Blaine, but meanwhile, they finished this year coming up just short against the second-seeded Shakopee Sabres.
As we take a look at our state brackets, Eden Prairie taking on Farmington. They're on the 12th. Maple Grove taking on Woodbury. Wayzata against St. Michael Albertville. And Lakeville South taking on Shakopee.
In Class 5A, Alexandria pulls the upset. They'll face Robbinsdale Cooper, a team that Spring Lake Park is very familiar with. Matamidi plays Rochester Mayo, the top seed. Andover and Rogers, the 7 and 6 sections at Osseo. And a good one, St. Thomas Academy against the top-ranked Mankato West. That powerhouse rolls on.
As we look at 4A, Becker taking on the Holy Angels. In the 4-1 matchup, Fridley taking on Casson Matterville. And the 7-6, Grand Rapids taking on my alma mater, Orono. And the 3-2 matchup, Simley against Hutchinson.
In Class 3A, Dilworth Glendon Felton against Annandale. Breck plays Plainview Elgin Millville. Esco against New London Spicer, who just knocked off Piers last week. And then Fairmont and the powerhouse rushing attack of Dassel Cokato.
Now in the 2A matchup, Barnesville taking on Eden Valley Watkins. Minneapolis North Community taking on Chatfield. The 7-6 matchup, Moose Lake Willow River taking on West Central Area Ashby. And the 3-2 matchup, Pipestone Area taking on Maple River.
In Class A, Monoman Waban and Mid-Iota, two of the local powerhouses that have been longtime powerhouses, are playing each other. Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa, after not winning a game since 2017, they're in the state playoffs against Rushford Peterson. Deer River takes on New York Mills, and Murray County Central against Mayor Lutheran at Jordan, a game I'll be calling on Friday night. Should be a good one between the top-ranked team in the state in Class 1A and Mayor Lutheran, who's on a roll right now.
Our last bracket for you, Kittleton County Central taking on Ogleville. We have Wheaton taking on Leroy Ostradane. And the 7-6 Mountain Iron Bull taking on Fertile Biltram. And the 3-2 Hills Beaver Creek taking on Renville County West. But it wasn't just football that was happening last week.
No, it was not. Well, it was football, but it was another kind of football that we were concerned with around here. And they played it on the same pitch as the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. The Vikings were away this past weekend, so the U.S. Bank got to host our soccer team. Centennial Cougars got out on the pitch, taking on the Irish of Rosemount as they get set to take them on. That was last Thursday, but this is Ava Great, and she is being great. Fast break for her, taking a shot on Metz with the quick fingers, gets down to make the save early on. This time, Ashley Figgett takes the long-range shot, but Metz having to push that one over the crossbar to keep the clean slate. A corner from the Irish. Dangerous ball there in the box, and Cubes coming up big time for the Cougars. That defense helping Metz out. But Tatum Treadle pushing this one forward, looking for Allis, but Frost gets the shot, and Hecht has a big save for herself. Allis with speed, gets a rip at the top of the 18-yard box, hitting off the crossbar. But now Bordson, the chance for the senior, a PK, but Hecht makes the choice and gets it right, saving a PK in the state tournament. But this game continues, and we get the big play of the day. Allis able to find Hamsky, and she finds the upper right corner of the goal to win it here for the Cougars. They'll advance to that final, but keep looking at this shot. Hamsky just making a play when she needs to. You look at the clock, just 40-some seconds remaining in this game, and Hamsky steps up massive for the Cougars. You can see the team all overjoyed as they know they'll get to head to the championship as Centennial wins it 1-0. But they continued with their fun at U.S. Bank, and they take on the Stillwater Ponies as they head into this matchup. This first one, it's Nell Smith Get to see her coming down on the right side, and she lofts it up and over our Mets into the goal early on in this game. And now the Ponies will get to have this lead to start out the game. Now it's Treadle who gets it back. Long range shot, but the crossbar saves it, and the Ponies keep that clean slate. Mets, another big save, and she's made them all season. But Allis with the free kick towards net, and the Ponies continue to have the big saves when they needed it. Fast break here. Mets does keep her clean slate, but Allis pushing this one forward out in front of Van Zee, and they can't quite get anything on it. Allis, another chance for a free kick. Great shot, but an even better save as the Stillwater Ponies win it 1-0 in the championship. Tough loss for our Cougars, but they will get a second place trophy, and we'll see that here shortly.
Never feels as good as the first place trophy, does it?
Definitely not, but absolutely, these ladies should be proud of the effort they put in to get that far, to at least play in that final game.
Yeah, as you see the bracket here, Stillwater upset Edina in the semifinals, Rosemount falling to Centennial, and then Centennial losing to Stillwater by the sake of that early goal. And Stillwater area, your state champions for 2021 in Class 3A. In Class 2A, Benilde St. Margaret's, who had beaten Matamidi 7-0 earlier in the season, goes down 3-1. Abby Smith with the hat trick to lead the Zephyrs over Benilde. And then in Class A, Minnehaha, the second seed, that holds up after Breck upsets Holy Family in the semis. Breck goes down in the final. Minnehaha wins. The Red Hawks are your champions in Class A on the strength of a 4-2 victory.
And now for the boys' state brackets. This is 3A. Minneapolis Southwest losing to Rochester Mayo. Rochester Mayo loses to Mounds View. And ultimately, there you get to see Mounds View in that final, who took on Rosemount to win it 3-2. That was a thrilling game for those of you who were able to watch it. Mounds View definitely had some talent on their team to come back and win that. Now as we look at the 2A matchups, Orono, again, my alma mater, having that huge win in the first round, 6-0 over Byron. Wilmer versus Worthington. Wilmer gets the win, 2-1. Matamidi gets the victory over Cloquet, and Holy Angels advanced. Matamidi versus Holy Angels. Holy Angels surge forward to that championship game. Orono beating Wilmer to play the Holy Angels, and they get that 1-0 victory, and I celebrated just because of the fun time and knowing some of those coaches on that staff. It was pretty exciting to see them get that victory. But in Single A, Southwest Christian taking on Proctor. Southwest Christian got to advance all the way to that championship game. St. Cloud Cathedral took on Pine Island, but Pine Island winning it in a 1-0 matchup for the upset. St. Paul Washington Tech losing to Rochester Lords, and St. Paul Humboldt taking on Metro Schools College Prep, and St. Paul moving on to take on Rochester Lords, and they do advance to that championship versus Southwest Christian. Southwest Christian, that 1 seed, and they prove it. They're in the final 3-0. They get the victory. But wow, the state tournament always doesn't disappoint. I have to be there pretty much the whole day after I was there calling the Cougars, that girls final, 8 a.m. And then the rest of the day, I had to make sure I stuck around to see all the games.
It starts early and finishes late, but there's never a shortage of upsets and 1-goal finishes. And we saw some amazing goals during this year's tournament as well. Some amazing saves, too.
And that's what's always nice, because they're out in front of those college coaches who are coming to see the talent, possibly, you know, let some players know that they're interested. And that's just the stage that you want to be on to make sure if you want to play at that next level,
and of
you
course,
get the eyes on you.
Of course, Orono brings home a state title.
Yeah, and that just brings back memories for me, because in 2009, bringing home the state title in girls soccer. And so definitely whenever I'm around it, it just feels like that's happening again for me. I'm like, okay.
There was championship action in volleyball as well, as we go indoors now. Top seed Blaine playing host to number 4 Centennial in a section semifinal. Cat clash. I've always wanted to say that. It's very exciting. Bengals up 10-6 first set when Evelyn Thornbusgard helps it over the net. Cougars would hang around though. Ashlyn McClellan over to junior outside hitter Cassie Sosinski, who hammers it down to keep Centennial alive. But Allie Tao serving, the speed, the spin, causes a bit of confusion for the Cougars. Second set, Tao serving again and has it rudely returned by future star Elena Hakey. Just an 8th there. Second set point, Natalie Schmitz with the solo block at the net to clinch it for the Bengals. Centennial doing its part to extend the match early in the third set. But Zoe Smith picked a good time to get her only kill of the match, ending the match and the Cougars season with this spike. Blaine defends its home floor in straight sets as the Bengals move on to the section final against Forest Lake.
And in that section final, the Blaine Bengals, like Bill Hupp said, taking on Forest Lake. Blaine seeded number 1 as they come to Cambridge High School. Forest Lake serving this as they set up Jillian Hansen with the forceful hit, knotting us at 7 in this first set. Tao gonna bump it up, and Clara Brown can't quite get the height to get it over the net. Rangers point 25-20 in that first set. In the second set, they're gonna push it out to Eliana Schmitz to fire it and allow the Bengals to earn a point here on this tough hit. But the Bengals, they fooled them once. Can they fool them twice? Denied. Ranger defense comes up big on that last point. 25-19, Forest Lake in the second set. Randall's gonna set up Weiss, and Weiss puts down the dagger. As we see it, Forest Lake have to push it back over. The Bengals able to set up Schmitz again as she finds the floor. And now Tao bumping it up. Get that back set over to Schmitz, and Schmitz, light touch, and it doesn't work out for her. The Rangers get the win and will advance to the state tournament 3-0. They win it in 3 sets. But
and here is the bracket for the Class 4A state volleyball tournament. Number 1, Wayzata. Tough task for anyone undefeated still. They'll face Roseville. Good matchup at the 4-5 with Lakeville North and Rogers. Eden Prairie faces those Lakers of Forest Lake, or those Rangers of Forest Lake. And Eastridge takes on a good but underrated Bloomington Jefferson team. All those matches, of course, happening at the XL Energy Center.
now as we look at the 3A bracket, Marshall taking on St. Paul Highlands, Monticello taking on Grand Rapids, Casson Matterville taking on Sauk Rapids Rice, and New Prague taking on Chisago Lakes as they try to advance for another trip to XL Energy Center.
Class 2A bracket, they won the boys state soccer title. Southwest Christian also tops in girls volleyball in this class, taking on Mounds Park Academy. Jackson County Central faces the Cardinals of Annandale. Cannon Falls goes up against Hawley. And in the final matchup of the day, it'll be Sauk Center taking on Greenway for the right to advance in the state tournament.
And now the single A matchup, Mayor Lutheran takes on Southridge, Bethlehem Academy taking on Breckenridge, Minneota takes on Badger Greenbush, and Legacy Christian taking on Walker Hackensack.
Oh, I remember playing with Hackensacks. Anyways, state girls cross-country results. Emma Magnuson, the top finisher for the Cougars of Centennial, who finished in 15th place with 339 points. As you can see, all bunched up there around the 100 to 120 mark for the most part. Other runners in the race, Caitlin Finnegan from Spring Lake Park was the top local finisher in 69th place with a time of 19:54. And a couple runners from Blaine also representing and doing well at St. Olaf last Saturday.
As we look at the boys' state cross-country results, Centennial 14th place with 330 points. Get to see that top runner for them, 43rd place, 16 minutes, 30 seconds. And then as far as our other athletes, we had Blaine in it with 37th place, 16:25:19.
Awesomely named River Santiago.
But like I said, we felt the playoffs in the air. We had some excitement for our teams. Not everyone coming up on the best side of it that they could have, but they definitely proved themselves to have a good season this year.
Yeah, no question. And we still have swimming and diving left to go.
True.
So a couple seasons are in the books for the fall campaign, but swimming and diving still left. And of course, the winter sports season will start before you know it. So
I know, we talked earlier that the snow is possibly going to be falling later on this week. And, you know, it just shows when the season changes, then we can start getting ready for basketball, hockey. It makes sense that that's around the corner.
No question. In the meantime, you can visit our website, follow us on social media, check out our YouTube page. We'll have game recaps of all the games that we've covered and been at. And the weather outside may be frightful, but it's nice and delightful inside the sports den. We'll see you next Monday for our second to last episode of the fall season.